Inside our organization, we had Ethan today close his first paid in full client, right? $15,000. That Ethan did not exist 2 months ago before we were using AI.
All right, guys. So you're listening to another episode of the Real Estate Wholesaling Syndicate podcast. I'm very excited today for the guest we have, Steve Trang, joining us. Steve, thank you so much for coming on, man.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. You reaching out. I'm honored. I'm flattered. So thanks for having me.
For sure, man. Now, you've been on my list for someone I've wanted to get on here for a while. When I actually first started wholesaling, your podcast, The Real Estate Disruptor, is one of the first ones I started listening to. So, man, it's pretty cool to have you on here now.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Of course, man. Yeah, you've got some great episodes, great guests. If you guys haven't checked it out yet, definitely make sure you go do so. But Steve, before we get into it, for anyone who might not know who you are yet, or it's in my audience, maybe just getting into wholesaling and haven't come across you yet, you want to give us a quick introduction on who you are, how you got started in real estate?
Yeah. So, real quick. So it's kind of hard to do it fast, but I've got about 2 decades in real estate. I bought my first flip, which turned out to be rental, in '05. Right? Became a licensed realtor in '07. Listed bank properties, did short sales, which are coming back. Listed properties for Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Chase, Fannie Mae. On the foreclosure side, owned a brokerage. And then somewhere along the way, I started a title company, started a JV on a mortgage company, got into wholesaling passively at first, and then actively later on. Got a podcast, done sales training. We train literally the best wholesalers in the country as far as sales goes. So guys that are doing double digit deals month in, month out, we train their sales teams. And then now, the latest adventure is using AI in running your sales appointments and also how to manage your sales team.
I love that. Yeah, AI is huge. We always talk about it here on the podcast. My company, Investor Plug, we have AI outbound callers, and we do SMS, so we do a lot of the follow up, and we use a lot of automations and stuff just to help people do that. But one of the big requests we get, especially because we have clients outside of real estate, is exactly what I believe your tool does. So I'd love to hear more about that. Let's just start with AI. So, what does your AI tool do exactly? How can people implement it, and who is it for?
So our AI tool is for two different groups of people. It's for the sales, not salesperson, but like the solopreneur, right? For the solopreneur, we have a free tool. It's objectionproof.ai. You just upload your calls. It could be a copy and paste transcript. It could be a text file. It could be an MP3, WAV file. You just upload it there, objectionproof.ai, and it will review the calls based on what we prescribe to be the true principles of sales, right? It's going to measure, and I'm going to give you a few different things. It's not an all-inclusive list, but how well did you set appropriate expectations at the beginning of the call? How well did you do storytelling versus, explaining? How well were you assertive versus aggressive? How good were you in empathetic and curious? How much did you use emotional engagement versus trying to be logical? Let's see what else there is. Were you non-needy or were you pushing for the sale? So like all of that, we're measuring 10 different things on a 10-point scale. So on every single call for now, it's a sum out of 100 points. But as we iterate, which I'm super excited about, as we iterate and we tie revenue to all these sales calls, we're going to find out which are the needle movers, which are the most important on every single sales call, right? Because we find out as we listen to hundreds and thousands of calls, like, hey, empathy is way more important than setting expectations. Okay, we're going to start weighting it differently. So I'm super excited about what we got here for the solopreneur.
Yeah, it's badass. No, it's a game changer for sure. Because one of my biggest tips for people is when you're first starting out in sales is like listening to your own calls. And now you don't even have to do that anymore because I feel like
Right.
we have these preconceptions when you make a call. And I know even I do. I've done sales since I was 18, and I've been on the phone since then. And it's like I'll have calls even now, and I'm like, oh, I did great. It's good. The call went awesome. He's definitely going to call me back. And like, I'll say
Mhm.
no, it's, back of my mind, I'm like, no, but like just emotionally you get caught up. I'm like, oh, it was a great call. But if you go back and listen, I'm like, oh, I fucked up here and here and here.
Mhm.
And I'll have other calls. I'm like, oh, I messed it up. It didn't go right away. And like, oh, maybe I should have done something different. And I go back and listen. I'm like, oh no, it was a great call. I did everything I was supposed to do. I
Mhm.
followed my system, my process perfectly. Just they're not all going to go. So I think having that unbiased third party, objective opinion from AI, I mean, is huge.
Mhm.
That's a game changer.
Yeah, I mean, even like and to review every single call.
Mm,
right? But now, like AI is reviewing every single sales call and is giving feedback, and he has to go in there because the feedback goes to everybody. Everyone in the company sees everyone else's feedback, right? So after the AI gets the feedback, he needs to go in there and say, okay, I agree with this part. Okay, I'll work on this part. So we're closing the loop. Like after
mm,
every call, within a couple of minutes, we've got feedback and we can close that loop. And that's just like the quick feedback, right? We still have like the sales manager reviewing the calls with them once a week, going reviewing the three worst calls according to AI and like, hey, let's just break down what happened on these calls. Like that's the human component. But like having a tight feedback loop after every call, boom, we know what can be changed. Boom, what can be changed. So, a couple months ago, there's no way he's getting a 15K paid in full. He was getting somebody on some sort of payment plan.
mm.
So it's been a huge game changer for us.
No, I love that. Do you find that are the people or your salespeople, your team that are using it, are they more receptive to the AI than like a manager? Is it like do they are they more? Because I
Yeah.
know sometimes people get defensive if like someone like, oh, you weren't on
Uh,
the call or whatever. But
well, they can't complain about that.
yeah,
But every one of our core values within our organization is growth mindset. Everyone's got to be humble. You got to operate with humility. Now, look, my friends and family think I'm overconfident, cocky as will be, and so on, right? That's kind of how it is, especially if you see me prior to my injury on the basketball court, right? Just very cocky. But I'm always receptive to coaching. I'm always receptive to feedback. I'm always listening, soliciting feedback from anywhere and everywhere, right? And so if you're a person in an organization that feedback doesn't do well with you, go work somewhere else. Like we're here to win,
yeah,
right? Like you don't go to like Jokic right now, right? And then say like, "Hey, here's what the game film show." He's like, "Nope, that game film's wrong."
right.
No, he's gonna be like, "Oh yeah, you're right. I missed the backdoor cutter."
Mm,
Right? Like the greats want to get better. They want to review game film. So yeah, if someone doesn't want it, then they don't desire greatness. If you don't desire greatness, go waste someone else's time and money.
yeah, no, that's a great point. Our core value is huge for you guys with when it comes to hiring and building your teams.
Oh yeah. If we're not a match in core values, like forget about it. I can't. It's exhausting if we're not aligned, right? So like growth mindset, integrity, commitment, service oriented, extreme ownership. If you don't have those, we can't vibe. I can't talk to you, right?
Mm,
It's like um, a bad thing about being an entrepreneur is that I can't talk to anyone at regular parties,
mm,
right? Like, at a mastermind, hey, what's up, Kai? How you doing? How's business? What's new? Hey, what's working for you recently? Right?
mm,
Like, we're gonna talk about this stuff. But if we're like, your wife works with my wife, and then we both have to go to this Christmas party together, I'm like, hi, I'm Steve. And like the rest of the time, I'm gonna be sitting over here in the corner, like eating chips and drinking fruit punch or whatever. Like, I cannot associate with people that don't want the same things I want.
100%. I love that. It took me a long time to realize how important core values were. And like before, I'd be like, oh, I don't like someone for some reason or another. And then once I actually sat down and wrote down my core values and really started to live by them, it's a game changer. Like it's like just an easy, check. You can check a couple boxes. You like know like why you vibe with someone or don't, or if that's someone
Mhm.
you want to spend their best time with. And yeah, it's
Yeah,
definitely a game changer.
we spend more time with our coworkers than we do with our families.
Mm,
Why would we not want to spend our time with people we get along with?
yeah, no, that's true. Yeah, it's definitely hard to move the needle forward if you guys aren't on the same page too. So.
Hmm.
But I love that, man. Has there been anything that's been like surprising with that you found, like that the AI's found, or like anything that you guys? I know obviously you guys trained it and did it, but was there anything that was
Yeah.
like kind of surprising that like from the data that you guys have found that you didn't expect to find?
From the data, I'm surprised at how good it is,
Mm,
truthfully. Now, with that being said, like Ian, the other sales trainer who's across the hall, trained it for 2 years, right? Like he's been iterating it, upload every single one of his sales calls, upload every single one of his trainings because he's a trainer. He
hmm
uploads every single one of his trainings. Like he's programmed the heck out of it. So I'm surprised at how good it is. But also there are times where I'm surprised how dumb it is, right? Ian's taking care of all the actual AI bot.
hmm
I'm building out the website, the interface, right, for all the teams because, like, we have a history. You can see how your team's been doing the last 7 days, 30 days, 90 days, all the time. Like, I built out the websites, the interface, the API integration, or the Zapier integration, the API integration. Like, I built out all of that, right? Like, that's
Hmm.
me. And as I built it all out, I'm using a lot of AI for coding assistance, right? It just makes sense. AI will just make crap up if it doesn't know the answer.
Yeah.
It would, right? It's like the example I've used is like, without the right parameters, AI sounds like a drunk 8-year-old. Like
Yeah.
it just doesn't know what it's talking about. And so there have been multiple instances, way more than I would like. It's not more than 10, but like the code just doesn't work, right? And I go through it. I have to put my engineering hat back on because 20 years ago I was an engineer. So I have to put my engineering hat back on and like go through the code line by line, figure out why this isn't working. And it's like, oh, because AI just made things up over here.
Right.
Like this code did not come from me, did not come from anywhere else. It just made it up because it thought it made sense. So I'm surprised at how good it is in certain things, and I'm surprised at how dumb it is in other things. It's
Right.
just, it's crazy how bad it can be.
100%. No, that's crazy. I think one of the new things that ChatGPT does is I supposedly it's supposed to fix it, but it's just like whatever idea you have, it's like the best idea in the world. And they're just
Mhm.
like hype people up. I'm like, yeah, it's great. I'm like, whenever we started,
Oh
like, it's the
yeah,
best
or
thing.
yes, yeah, it's the most supportive thing. Yeah,
Hmm.
that's takes me back to the Matrix, right? The
Right.
first version of the Matrix, everyone was happy.
Hmm. Nah, it's great. We're there. We're close. I mean, it's
Yeah.
yeah, I can't imagine where things I mean, it just keeps getting better and better. I don't know where we're gonna be in a few years from now. And it's gonna be a crazy ride for sure.
I think we're gonna be the Star Trek, the next generation.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be like, computer, make me a ramen noodle soup.
right. It's there. We get the bots, Elon Musk, the Tesla bots are coming
Oh
along.
yeah.
They're supposed to be out soon. And yeah, the new Black Mirror is crazy. I'm like, we're pretty much all there. So what are you using for outside of what you guys are doing? Like, what are you using personally for AI tools outside like chat? You guys using
Uh,
anything besides Chat GPT or?
I really don't use a lot of ChatGPT, honestly. I'm an Elon fanboy.
Hmm.
Um, and so ChatGPT was cool when it first came out, and it's still good. It's still a great
Yeah.
tool, right? And it's better for images.
Hmm.
But I don't like the idea that it's trained on biased data.
Right.
So I like Grok.
Yeah.
I use Grok a lot because there's two things. A, it's trained on all data versus like a subset of data that's not deemed accurate information.
Hmm.
That's one thing. But the other thing too is Grok doesn't give a crap about your feelings, right?
Yeah.
It's like you're talking to Elon directly. And so when I ask it for feedback, it gives me facts, which is how I like to receive information, right?
Right.
I don't like, I'm a high D personality. Don't try to like make me feel good, right? Just give it to me straight. Grok just gives it to you straight. So I like Grok. What else am I using? I use a lot of Cursor because I'm doing the programming.
Hmm.
Grok and Cursor going together. I'm using N8N for developing a lot of stuff. N8N is like an API, is like an AI integrated Zapier.
Hmm.
So I'm still using a lot of Zapier, right? But Zapier, N8N, and then I have to use make.com now
Yep.
because I want to review my role play. So our role play is done, but if we want to review the role play, make.com is the way we got to go.
Nice. Yeah. It's always a pain when you have to jump back in between
There's
Zapier
so
and
many
Zapier, and
different,
then yeah, you got to do all the different ones
yeah.
now. But yeah, have you checked it out, Manus yet?
Not yet, because there's a wait list when I checked it out, and the reality is, Manus is cool because I think
Mhm.
Manus is probably gonna be the one that makes it so that we don't need humans to comp properties anymore.
Yeah,
Um, but there's so many AI tools coming out all the time that Manus could just be the hot girl today.
for sure.
And then, like, because like, how much have people talked about DeepSeek? I haven't heard anyone talk about DeepSeek for like 3 or 4 months.
Yeah.
Right? Like there's stuff coming out of China that's here and then it's not. It's here and then it's not. So like I'm less concerned, and this could be completely ignorant, right? Being fully Chinese, I should be more supportive of them. But I just think like, they're pumping these things out, but I think, between Grok, ChatGPT, and then haven't really used Claude so much, but I think with these things, they're,
Hmm.
they're just incorporating all of it. It's like
Yeah.
Facebook, right? Like anytime there's a good idea, they just steal it.
Right.
So I think these American companies are going to do the same exact thing.
100%. Well, I think man, it's pretty cool. I'll send you the code. I got an invite code I can send you.
Cool.
But yeah, that one's cool because it does some stuff on the outside. I haven't heard of Cursor yet. I'll check that one out. But yeah, I'm always trying to check out the different ones. But it's like you said, just so fast. It's like it keeps coming out. They keep
There's
updating and
so
changing. It's
many
like
coming.
can't keep up with it.
Yeah, I pay attention to the website Rundown, the Rundown, I think,
The
right? It's like
rundown.
the only one that seems to be like up to date and also not paid. Um, and like there's a new one. This is Lego GPT. Like,
Mm,
like how many new things are gonna come out, right? This is how you can build Lego characters or
that's
Lego
crazy.
structures, right? It's like how many of these things are gonna come out?
Yeah, that's wild. It's yeah, I like the guy Matt Wolf on YouTube. I try to watch
Hmm.
him. He like updates like new stuff coming out and stuff. But yeah, it's just so much. It's just constant. And I
Hmm.
feel like it's just going to keep getting more and more as technology advances.
Right.
But yeah, let's switch gears for a bit. You know, you talk about AI all day. But sales, one of my other favorite things to talk about is sales.
Hmm.
How did you first get into sales? What's kind of like your your philosophy behind sales and you know
Uh, so my philosophy has evolved quite a bit. So just to add context, I mentioned I was an engineer. I took my engineering hat off 20 years ago, 18, 20 years ago. Um, I sucked at sales. I was atrocious at sales because I want as much information as possible. And so when I sold, I gave as much information as possible. So Kai says, hey, my wife and I were looking to buy a three-bedroom house in Tempe for under $250,000. Like, okay, great. Let me pull up every three-bedroom, two-bath house in Tempe, Arizona, underneath that price point. Let's show you all the houses. All right, Kai, which one do you want? Nobody buys this way.
mm,
Nobody except for engineers, right? And so that's how I buy, and so that's how I sold.
mm,
And so it's no surprise I sucked at sales, right? And so I read the books, bought the products, the CDs back then when CDs was a thing, right before Audible. Like so I did all these things and I got decent and I got all the objection handlers, right? Like, you say, well, Steve, what do you charge? I'm going to say, well, it sounds like the price you pay, it sounds like the commission you pay is more important than how much money ends up in your bank account. You're like, no, the amount of money is in the bank account, blah, 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 right? Like, I learned all the objection handlers over time, but I was really bad at listening.
mm,
And so, I mean, there's still like memories, right? Trauma of like how bad I sucked at sales that I still remember to this day. And so it wasn't until 2018 that it all clicked, and it all clicked because I found my own sales trainer that I worked with for quite a bit. And once I understood that, then I finally got tonality down. I finally got proactive listening down. People say active listening, but I call it proactive listening because our
mm.
our philosophy is to really dig to pull more information out. Really got good at setting expectations, right? Hey, look, yes, no, just promise me you won't think about it. I got even better at overcoming objections because I got better at listening. And I think one of the big philosophies that we really preach hard these days to our clients that we train is that our core philosophy is that we don't sell, we get clients to sell themselves.
Mm,
If you're convincing, you're losing, right? Because if you have to convince somebody, it's because you're not sold, right? I'm just gonna ask questions and get you to a position where you're like, man, I really need this, and then you close yourself, right? And if you're closing yourself, it doesn't matter what it costs because you're buying it for your reasons.
right.
But if I'm trying to convince you, I'm trying to get you to pay this price for this reason, which isn't your reason, we got resistance. So it's all about getting Kai to sell himself on why he wants to work with Steve.
100%. No, I love that. So, I mean, being on the sales trainer side, I'm sure you see a whole bunch of different, people and
Hmm.
different sales styles and people at different, techniques
Oh,
and
definitely.
things. What are some of the most common things with like new wholesalers that you see? Or what are some of the most common mistakes they make, or what are some like ways they can like easily improve and move the needle forward?
The biggest thing, and this is true for every person that's new in sales, doesn't matter the industry. The biggest thing is the non-neediness.
Mm,
That I don't need this business. And it's easy to say, right? But you have to incorporate it in your language. And the way it's incorporated in your language is like, hey, Kai, look, it sounds like we're so far apart, this is never going to work. Maybe we should just end it here, right? It's hard for someone to say that to a prospect because, like, if I don't get this one, I don't know when the next opportunity is. I don't know when the next lead is going to come in. I don't know when my next appointment is. If I don't get this one sold, man, like I don't know if I'm gonna have enough money for marketing next month. Like there's all of these things that are happening, but you've got to have this attitude because we don't buy from desperate salespeople. We don't
Right.
buy from commission breath, right?
Hmm.
It's got to be non-neediness. It's got to be again, Kai's buying for his reasons. If Kai's buying for Steve's reasons, you might not show up on closing day. You might hate me throughout this whole transaction. You might feel manipulated, coerced, pushed, right? If I come into this like Kai, I don't take no for an answer. You can be like, look, back off, right? Like, give me space, give me time. I say, hey, Kai, look, what you're looking to get, maybe you should just go with a realtor. And they're like, when Kai is like, well, I don't have time, I don't have money, I don't have this and that. It's like, okay, well, if you, it sounds like you really need to get sold. If you need to get sold, we can do it, not at the price that you want.
Mm.
And now you're going to convince yourself to take less money to work with me. So that I would say the ability to not just hear the concept and accept the concept, but to live and breathe and talk the concept where the other person understands you don't need the business, even if you do, right? The other person feels like you don't need the business. That is what is attractive. That's what gets contracts. And look, it's not just true in sales. We've seen this time and time again in the dating world, right? So like hopefully everyone gets it. Well, I guess getting it isn't enough. You have to understand and like embrace it because until you internalize it, you're gonna be convincing, and when you're convincing, you're not winning.
Right. No, that's the biggest thing. I think yeah, you can just like sense it, like say commission breath, call it industry, but it's just like neediness. Like it's just so repulsive. And like it's just like the
No
opposite
one
of what
wants a
you want to do.
desperate person,
Hmm.
right? No one wants to work with a desperate person.
Yeah, 100%. What's the best way if that is a tough one, but what's the best way for someone like if they recognize, hey, I'm being needy? Do you have like any tips for
Mhm.
someone to like give less of a fuck, I guess, or like care less about the whole kind of
Let's see here. The best way to practice it. I mean, I think role play is a big thing.
yeah,
I think one of the, and which one I'm excited about with the other part of our AI tool is the role play. We already released the first version of that. But I think role playing is a big thing. Um, and I think you got to hustle every day to build your pipeline.
yeah,
The easiest way to not need the business is to actually not need the business.
right,
That's the easiest way. But beyond that is I think role play, practicing affirmations. Having a
hmm,
pre-game routine, like professional athletes do it. They get paid pretty well. Why are we above having pre-game routines?
right.
So, just a reminder, reading to yourself to mentally prepare yourself for the appointment.
Yeah, 100%. That's great advice. I think the AI role play tool, that's gonna be a game changer too, because I feel like everyone hates doing role play. Like
Hmm.
it's awkward and cringy, but I feel like if you can just do it with the AI. I mean, it's like, no judgment. You're just, it's what a great tool.
Yeah, I mean, what we're gonna have in there, this will be part of the paid version. But if you have a hard time getting yourself to role play, what if you could just log into the system and say, "Hey, call me at 8:30 every morning,"
Mm,
and now AI is calling you,
yeah, that's badass
right? Then you don't have the willpower. You don't need the willpower to role play. Like it's already been predetermined for you.
for sure. That's huge. It's badass. Are there any like favorite books or like anyone like maybe they're just starting out, like any like sales books that you recommend or like any things that you found helpful?
Yeah, can't teach a kid to ride a bike at a seminar. Never split the difference. Gap selling. I think are three off the top of my head. Oh, Active Listening 2.0. That's my book. I think it's a pretty good book. Got to do the Donald Trump plug, right? Like it's
Right.
a beautiful book. It's I would say so. I think those four will get you pretty far. I think To Sell is Human is a great conceptually to really embrace it. I would say those are my favorite books on sales.
Yeah, those are some great ones. Yeah, I think I still gotta read a couple of those. But yeah, I never split the difference. One of my favorite ones, too.
Hmm. That was a game
But
changer. When he released it in 17, or when I picked it up in 17, I gave that book to everybody.
yeah,
Right? Like, if you were my network, you got that book. It was an absolute game changer for me.
that's awesome. I was kind of to had more of ego then, I think, because I'm like, oh, I don't know what I'm going to learn. This guy that hasn't done sales. He's a negotiator. Like, what am I going to learn from this guy? And then like, I read the book and I tried. I fucking was the least, humble enough to at least try it and see if it worked. And I'm like, oh wow,
Mhm.
this shit works really well. And we changed all the
Yeah.
marketing messages and tested it all out. And it was like
Hmm.
our conversion rates were crushing, like on response rates and stuff. And I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
this like everyone needs to read this for sure.
I think what he popularized made what made normal was mirroring,
Mm,
right? And I think everyone's like other instructors, programs, books have talked about it, right? But like he like really hammered that point home. And like of all the sales tactics, right? Like we one day we'd write it down. It's like over 50 that we teach, right? But like of all of them, mirroring is the most disproportionately effective tool. It just should not work the way it works.
right.
How effective it is, it's just dumb. It's such a cheat code. So yeah, I think that was like for me the biggest one. That one and pausing were the two biggest ones. There's a lot of good stuff in there, but like mirroring, time and time again, I've seen has been disproportionately effective. If that was the only thing someone worked on, they'll dramatically increase their sales. If that was the only
100%.
thing they work on, right? I mean, there's all other stuff to make more money, but like if there's only one thing I could be great at, that would probably be the one.
Yeah. No, that one's a great one. Yeah, I think I first heard about marrying with Tony Robbins. I'm like, this stuff
Mm.
like sounds kind of, woo woo woo. I'm like, I don't know if this will work, but you try it, it works for sure.
Absolutely.
But man, so what's your opinion on scripts? I know some people are, you know, very pro scripts, very against them.
Uh, so scripts are good, and kind of like having a fight plan is good, right? Like Mike Tyson said it best: everyone's got a plan until they get punched in the mouth. So scripts are good because it gives you a talk track. It gives you something to work with. But I've never had two appointments that went the same exact way.
Mm,
So a framework gives you parameters, gives you something to stay within so that when you get pulled off track, you can get back on track. So I love the concept of scripts. Uh, the one script that's really important to me is when we reset expectations at the beginning of an appointment. Beyond that, frameworks, how to have a conversation. Like we have a whole bunch of one-liners for sure, but I think a framework is a lot more effective than scripts. But I think if you're starting brand new, scripts are good because it gives you something to compare against for when you get punched in the mouth.
mm. No, I love that. No, I'm same exact opinion. Like I think where people mess up, they think they have to follow it verbatim, and like even if they're talking about something else and
Oh,
do it, but having that
oh yeah, you
framework.
sound so disingenuous
Mhm.
if you're like what that homeowner just said and where this is in the script, it doesn't work.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a big fan of the straight line system, and
Mhm.
so yeah, I love having a script. Like so for me, like I have it with me at all times. Like it's there. Like I just like knowing it's there. I think maybe just I've had one for so long. I just like knowing
Mhm.
it's there mentally, even though I know it without having it.
Yeah,
It's just like good to
yeah,
have, and especially if you're new, it's good to have that. But just know, like it's like you said, go back to it, right? You know where if they
Mhm.
start going off onto Mars and talk about the tea in China or whatever, you bring it back to your straight line to the perfect sale.
Exactly, exactly.
But that's huge, man. So yeah, man, no, this has been great. What other tips do you have for like new wholesalers that are just getting started?
In general, I would say surround yourself with people that are doing what you want to do. They're either at your level or ahead, or much further ahead. I think that's who you should be surrounding yourself with. Spend as much time as you can around those people, because those are people that have solved problems or are solving problems that you're dealing with. The conversation is going to be the most relevant. Like, if you're a brand new wholesaler, can you learn things from hanging around me? Yes, right? But there's a reason why I don't coach new wholesalers anymore. Is that my perception of problems are very different, or my perspective on problems are very different than their perspective on problems. I might sound entirely cold and heartless at this point. If I'm talking to a brand new wholesaler, like, hey, how to do this? Like, you go figure it out, right? Like, it's just my patience for those questions is not the same as it once was,
Right.
right? Because I'm at a different season in my career. And so I think, can I help a brand new wholesaler? Yes. Should I be the person? No. Right?
Mm,
Go find the person that's doing the same things as you, a little bit further along, or quite a bit further along, or maybe have one for each group, but spend your time around those people because those are the people that are going to help you the most.
Yeah, I love that. That's great advice. I know you mentioned before when we were talking about your AI tool. You said there are two groups of people in
Yep.
our audience, mostly new wholesalers, but we have a lot of people that are more experienced too, done a bunch of deals, been in it for a few
Yeah.
years. Um, what's the other group of people that could benefit from the AI tool?
Uh, Business owners will benefit the most. And the reason why I say that is because, I mentioned internally, right? Like Ethan just had a huge sale, right? Because now there's like close loop, right? We're not doing call review once a week, call review once a month, or, maybe never, because that happens sometimes. Like, boom, call review, minutes, over and over and over again. We had a situation where I was having lunch with our sales manager, and he was looking it was the day I rolled it out. I launched our AI tool internally that day,
Hmm.
and we're having lunch, and the first thing he said when he was looking at his email, I was like, "Oh, are things up and running already?" I was like, "Yeah, I told you this morning. Weren't you listening?" But then the second thing is like, "Hey, why is our sales rep saying this?" Like, you're the sales manager. You tell me why they're saying this, right? And I said, "Hey, go jump and chat right now, and let them know they can't say this."
Yeah,
And so we caught that day of at lunch. Who knows if we caught that a week later during call review, a month later in call review, right? It's like we're catching problems faster, which leads to losing less money from marketing, right? We're leaking
yeah,
less money because if you think about it, like most wholesaling organizations, a lot of them have one, maybe two studs, right? Male or female, but they're stud closers.
hmm,
Would you want to know that your stud is entering a slump now, today? Or do you want to find out that they were in a slump a month later when you're like, hey,
mm,
how come revenue's down? How come contracts are down? So, like, I don't know about you, but I can tell you my weakness. If I get into a verbal spat with my wife before I walk out the door, I'm useless for a few hours,
mm,
right? As a sales manager, I want to know if our sales rep is not in the right spot mentally now, not when we do call review later on, not
yeah,
when we get an angry call from an old lady who's like, why is the person in your company cussing me out?
right,
Right? Because that happens. It's happened to me, right? So I think that's a big thing. Mandatory role play. Everyone in the organization has to do role play every morning, right? AI is going to call. So like one of the most difficult things as a sales manager, not difficult, I'm sorry, exhausting things to do as a sales manager is like, hey Kai, have you done role play yet? Right? You have to babysit. Have you role
right,
played yet? Have you role played yet? Right? And then if you said no, then unfortunately, a lot of times as a sales manager, I have to do the role play with you. So now it's like a double taxation, double pain for doing it right. Now instead, all right, hey, I know every morning at 8:55, Kai's getting a call from our AI. He's doing the role play. That's done. And I get a report, right? And hey, if you fail the role play or if you didn't attend the role play, you don't get leads that day.
mm,
It's easy, right? So now I don't have to manage you as much as you're going to manage yourself. And that's why the big thing that we're pushing right now is the self-managing sales team through AI.
mm,
So I think business owners for that role play tool, I think that's going to be great. And then the next thing is now that the role play tool is done, not done, started, like we have versions up, but it's not finalized. But now that we have something here, now when you want to apply to work at my company, hey, guess what? You got a role play with my
mm,
bot. And if my bot says you're no good, you're not getting an interview. Because if you think about all the interviews that we have, generally speaking, in my company, we do an application, right? A screening call. And then if they pass the screen, then we do like a full interview. Well, a full interview is at least 90 minutes, and sometimes with multiple people within the organization. It costs real money. There's opportunity costs. Take my sales manager's time, take my time to interview with a candidate. And then we do the role play, and then they suck. And now it's like all awkward. So now you do the role play with the bot, and if you pass the role play with the bot, now you do the interview. Now we're saving a lot of time within our organization.
yeah, that's huge. That's a game changer. So what does the bot actually get? Is it like a scorecard, like a report card? Do they like what does it give you as like if I called and role played with the bot, does it get like what does it give you for feedback?
It's the same exact thing as right now. So right now, objection proof AI, right? Objectionproof.ai. If you go in there, you get a 2, 3 page report of all the things you did well, areas for improvement, things to focus on. The role play bot is going to give you the same exact thing,
Nice.
right? Yeah, because it's the same. principles.
No, it's badass. And is it like any audio transcript you can just send to it?
So for the
Or,
scoring, yeah, for
mm,
scoring, you can upload an MP3 WAV file. So long as it's less than 25 megabytes, we're gonna make it bigger, but that's the limitations we have today.
yeah,
So long as it's under 25 megabytes, anyone can upload a recording right now. There's no charge.
oh, that's great. I'm gonna try that out. Yeah, definitely make sure you guys do. That sounds super cool. And yeah, definitely love to check that out.
Yeah,
Awesome, man. So what's next for Steve Trang? Do you have anything else you're working on? You anything coming up?
this is it, man. I think this is my I think the term is magnum opus. You
Hmm.
know, like it's legit everything I've worked on in my entire career, including my engineering days, right? Like even like the stuff that I'm doing on the database side, because like the front end's the website, but the back end is a database. And it's like it's funny to me that I'm incorporating the stuff that I learned as an intern when I worked at Honeywell, when I was doing database management. Like I was writing code for database. It's just funny to me, like everything I've ever done is all going into this product. You're getting not just the 18, 20 years of real estate experience, but also like all the engineering experience all in this one tool. And then you got Ian, right, who's got the sales nerd in him, which is great, but also the AI nerd. But also, like, he was like studying AI back in college a long time ago.
Oh,
Like, he's incorporating principles he learned from those days because there's different types of AI, and the AI we're building is very different than like the ChatGPT AI, right?
hmm.
Different. So it's crazy. Like, all the stuff that we worked on is all going to this. So, like, everything is going to this. We're not working on anything else.
I love that. No, it's great when that how that comes together. It's like exactly how I feel about like where we're at with Investor Plug now, which is our we
Mhm.
do custom CRMs, they're AI powered. But I'm like, oh, like looking back, the things I used to do, like we used to do this for car dealers, we build systems and stuff and do all their marketing and
Yeah.
stuff. And I'm like, it's wild. I got into real estate and just wild how it comes full circle. And like,
Mhm.
I'm like, oh, it's just like I don't know, it's like
It all
stepping
goes together.
stones. Yeah,
It's
yeah, it's
like it
just.
was like designed for this to happen.
Mhm. Yeah, it's weird when you look back at things like that and you can start to see those patterns. But it's really cool
Yeah.
too. But no, it's awesome, man. I love that. So I'm very excited to see what happens with that. Um, but I'm sure it's gonna blow up and be huge. And I think it already is. I keep hearing about it everywhere. So yeah, I'm excited to check it out myself. I encourage everybody to go check it out. And again, one more time, what's the website again for them to go do to
Objectionproof.ai, which by the way, who doesn't want to be objection proof,
right?
right? So objectionproof.ai.
I love that. No, that's a great name. But awesome, man. Well, what's the best way, Steve, for people to keep up with everything you're doing and follow you on social media and the interwebs and all that good stuff?
So our podcast, Disruptors, you can find it on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify. Instagram is where I put a bunch of reels. So like if you want like quick sales tips, it's all over my Instagram. We're posting 3 videos a day of just sales tips that, I mean, we're getting was it 200,000 plus views a month on our Instagram. So I like to think it's kind of worthy, right? So
Yeah,
uh, check that out. And then I am mostly talking about AI on my Facebook. I'm still an old person, right? I'm 45. So if I'm gonna write it out, it's going on Facebook because no one's reading stuff on Instagram. So if you want to pay attention to what I'm writing about, Facebook is where I'm posting things.
love it. Yeah, definitely make sure if you're not already following him, you're not already connected, make sure you do. He posts some great content and it's always giving a shit ton of value. So definitely make sure you follow him. But Steve, this was great, man. Any final thoughts before we wrap up?
Yeah, I would say, and it sounds like your audience is already here. But I mean, I would share with you guys. I've got some fears about AI. I can't do anything about it, right? But I got some fears about it. But at the same time, I think if you're not paying attention, if by now you're not convinced, you're gonna get left behind. I've got a 14, a 12, and an 8-year-old. And my 14-year-old, she's got finals next week. We're in Arizona, so we end a little earlier. She's got finals next week, and after that, she's gonna work for me for the summer. And I've been telling her to play with AI. I've been telling her to do all these things. She's not been doing it. Well, now she doesn't have a choice because I'm paying her, right? So, but I want her as a 14-year-old to learn how to use AI because I don't think there's anything that they can teach her at school that'd be more as valuable than her becoming proficient and excellent at AI. So
100%.
that's gonna be her summer job. If she doesn't have a choice.
I
Actually, I
love
take that
that.
back. She thinks I don't have a choice because she told me it's gonna happen, right? I let her think it was her idea.
Yeah,
Um,
going back, call back.
yeah, yeah, but yeah, that's what we're doing because I think that's the future. If you're not getting on board, I don't know. I don't know what you're gonna do because like you can't even go like pick strawberries, right? Because like
No,
Tesla's robots are gonna do that. I don't even know what you're gonna do if
I
you're
don't.
not using
Yeah,
AI.
no, I don't know. Like, yeah, what do
Well, I
you have
guess I
any
take that
thoughts
back.
here?
Plumber, right? Like,
I think South Park did one on that. Yeah, like all the people that like the handyman end up becoming like
yeah. And it's
the
no
the
disrespect. Like
ballers.
that's a noble profession as well, right?
Yeah.
But like it's gonna have to be working with your hands because if it's working
Hmm.
with the computer, AI is gonna do it.
Yeah. 100%. Where do you see AI in like near future, 5, 10 years?
So something I've been saying is dark humor. But I think we're all gonna be dead. So, you know, spend it like you
Yeah.
spend it. It's either gonna be we're not gonna be here. I think, Matrix or Terminator 2 turns out to be true, or hopefully this is more like Star Trek, where like no one has to work and everything is just made, right? That's not a 5 year thing, but that could be like an 8 to 10 year thing
Yeah.
where like, things are great, world peace and all this other stuff. Not super optimistic about this, but like that's my hope. Because
Hmm.
like what I think is more realistic is like we're all screwed.
Yeah.
It's gonna be like someone said this, like, it's gonna be a world where like Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk controls everything.
Yeah. Pretty much. Yeah. I can see that for sure. I mean, pretty much
I know,
already
that's
there.
sad, right? It's scary.
Hmm. We'll see how they end up. I know Elon and Zuckerberg never did the fight, but it'd be interesting to see the fight for world dominance.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the thing is that's not a non-zero possibility.
Yeah, for sure. No, it's crazy. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I feel like it just gets closer and closer every day, and forget what the term is, but they talk about like how technology, like the speed of technology growth, it just like gets faster and faster and compounds
Hmm.
just because it keeps getting better and better. And yeah, it's nuts, man. I think it's a very interesting time to be alive for sure.
It is. It is.
But man,
Yeah.
thanks again for coming on. This was great. Love to have you come back again. This is a lot of fun. And yeah, guys, make sure if you, I'm sure you guys probably already are, but make sure you go follow Steve Trang and man, he's got some great content.
Yeah. Thanks, Guy.